Hello and welcome all students to yet another history chapter, chapter number 10, Changing Life Part 2. Student, in the previous video we had seen about the language, sports, theatres and films, newspaper. Today in this chapter, Changing Life Part 2, we shall see about the changes brought about in the field of television.
Once upon a time, in the 1970s, we used to sit and stare out of the window, at the ceiling, into a book. Alternatively, we would stare at the transistor radio listening to the BBC's Test Match special, Binaka Geet Mala or Forces Request. By the early 80s, we had begun to stare at the TV set and Doordarshan, which in those days were one and the same thing. Mid-1980s, Doordarshan's sponsored program brought television to life for the first time. We laughed with Ye Jo Hai Zindagi. We cried with Bunyad. We even worshipped the box through Ramayana and Mahabharat. Deserted roads, absolute silence to be disturbed only with an occasional yelp from a street dog. Shops with shutters drawn. No sight of a train or a bus moving by. If you grew up in India in the 80s, you probably would be able to relate to this scene. This was how Sunday mornings were like in most parts of India when in 1987 the epic Ramayana began to be aired on television. The country had just been introduced to the Wonder Box, and it was through the serial of Ramayana, with entire families crowding around, that Indian began their tryst with the television. With manufacturers like Solidaire, Dianora, and Philips being the only ones in the market during the initial days, only a privileged lot owned the Wonder Box. Owning a television was a luxury, and the proud owners would often invite their neighbors to watch a program or two. With the telecast of the serial Ramayana based on Hindu mythological story, television became a great hit with the Indian audience. The actors who played the role of Ram and Sita were worshipped and idolized, and real life characters became real. The Ramayana was followed suit by the Mahabharata. Within a matter of few years, televisions started to invade each and every house and were no longer considered luxury. Gone were the times when a whole village would gather in front of a single television in awe. Indian television expanded its wings and spotting the opportunity, a number of networks like Sun, Star and Zee set up channels in various Indian languages. With the entry of CNN, NGC and Discovery, Indian viewers got the chance to enjoy the beauty of the Niagara within the confines of one's home and watch the lion chase its prey without having to visit the African forests. In 1991, Doordarshan broadcast the Gulf War. CNN's Peter Arnett's went live from Baghdad, and within a year, our television screen, like the Iraqi capital, exploded into action. So much so that in 1998 we watched a different desert storm in Sharjah courtesy our very own Sachin Tendulkar. The dawn of the new millennium has been typified by reality shows. Indian channels began to ape British and American shows like Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, American Idol, coming up with shows suited for Indian taste. Kaun Banega Karodpati, the Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, has completed several successful seasons. Indian Idol, Airtel Super Singer, Dance India Dance, Jodi number one and a lot of other shows on the lines of American Idol have managed to woo viewers all over India, keeping them on their toes with the extensive drama and talent involved. The language, the technique of presentation, studios equipped with the latest technology, and the use of outdoor broadcasting vans have expanded the scope of Indian TV channels still further and brought in transparency and variety. From black and white solitaire television sets to Samsung home theater systems, cable TV to direct to home, that is DTH services, India has come a long way in the television industry. What with the high definition programming and recording now available, watching television is no longer an entertainment but an experience. Also, thanks to the telly, the gap between villages and cities has certainly been bridged to a great extent by making villagers aware of everything from technological advancements to the hottest gossip in the film industry. This wonder box has indeed broadened the thoughts and views of people by exposing them to what is happening outside their country too. Consider this. Television was introduced in India in 1959, but we had only one national channel for over 30 years, which sporadically burst into life. 25 years later, we have 24/7 TV. There are now over 800 licensed channels. The first 24/7 news channel began in 1998. By 2014, there were 400 and counting in more than 15 languages. Wonder what it will be next. 3D televisions are already available in the market. So, is it going to be just a while before we all sit at home, 3D glasses on, maybe watching the arrows from Ramayana zoom right through into our eyes? My dear students, so far this year we have studied the history of modern India. Next year we will study how to make use of this subject in the practical world. We shall see how history can be a part of our daily life and not just a thing of the past. So that's all for this class. Thank you.